Hey, welcome back to the Soul Pod. This is Stacy. Deepak Chopra said there are no accidents. There's only some purpose that we haven't yet understood. Today, I want to talk about synchronicities. This is something that I'd heard of, uh, but I really didn't start looking at or thinking about or trying to identify in my mind or tapping into and using as a resource until after my spiritual awakening. And so if you're running into some synchronicities or you're starting to have things happen in your life that are a little unexplainable to you, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to tap into those and how to make use of them as more than just some strange thing that you don't quite understand, but that has some beautiful meaning or a resonance for you. Carl Jung was the first one to talk about synchronicities, as far as I know. When he was working with a patient back in, it was 1920 something, 1930 something, early on in his career, he started seeing things that were happening that were unusual. Not just when he was working with a patient, but the classic case was he was talking to a patient and she was talking about some dreams that she was having. This was in northern Europe, not high northern, but more central Europe, and she was talking about some dreams she was having, and a dream specifically that she had about a golden scarab, which is a bug that's common much south of there, especially in and around the northern deserts of Africa. And he kept hearing this weird sound, some tapping, and he was a little irritated by it. But finally, he turned around and he looked at the window to figure out what's going on. Why is somebody tapping on this window? And it wasn't someone; it was a scarab, which are incredibly rare there where he was at in Austria. Um, they weren't something that you would expect to see. But in that moment where this woman is talking about the significance of this scarab bug in her dream, it's a beetle, suddenly one appears at the most random moment that seemed to underline that whatever she was saying there was some significance to. And Carl Jung, though he was a scientific mind, saw this and he understood that it couldn't be denied that there was something more to this than just coincidence, because it wasn't the first time this sort of thing had happened. This was just something that underlined it for the final time and made him realize that synchronicities were, well, a message from somewhere deeper. If you're going through a spiritual awakening, when you're going through a spiritual awakening, you'll start to see synchronicities start to happen. Strange things that you don't really have a way to explain that makes sense. I'll tell you a story about a recent synchronicity with me. So my dog died 4 weeks ago, and I came home after leaving her at the vet and saying goodbye to her. And I sat in my backyard and cried. And I just turned on some music because I just didn't want to be alone. And a song came on that I haven't heard in more than 30 years. And the opening lines to it were perfect. They underlined the sadness in me. I've been looking so long at these pictures of you that I don't really know if they're real. I've been looking so long at these pictures of you that I'm starting to think that the pictures are all that I feel. And I thought, man, that's all I got left. It was just sadness inside of me that was talking to that part of me that lost. That's all I have left, is pictures of you. And then I thought, well, I'm screwed now. If I ever hear this song again, of course I'm going to think of her. Skittles, my puppy. And I thought, well, that's good because I haven't heard this song in decades, so it's not really that much of a problem. Well, she and I used to do trips in my Jeep. It was our fun mobile. We would go on road trips, just the two of us, anywhere. And 3 weeks to the day later from losing her, the Jeep quit. The transmission went, and I was on a road trip with her ashes. So it seemed really appropriate. I was like, well, this is our last trip together in the Jeep, girl. And I went home. I bought a new car, said goodbye to the Jeep. It felt really right. It felt poetic. And I got in my new car, and I hit a random station, and that same song came on, a song I haven't heard in decades, probably 15 to 20 years. It's an obscure song. And as I pulled out of the lot, this song is playing. What are the odds that that would happen? I wasn't playing it off my Spotify channel. I was playing it off some random program on the car that happened to be a music channel you could choose. My phone wasn't even hooked up to it yet. So if my phone had been hooked up to it, I thought, well, that's the algorithm. But now, what are the odds? That's a synchronicity. And in that moment when you have a synchronicity and it's unexplainable mathematically, but you can feel it here, whatever that message is that you're getting, don't fight that. Don't say, oh, no, that's just me projecting my stuff. No, embrace it, pull it in. That message to me was my dog saying hi. And I think in some way she was maybe christening the new ride. It's another four-wheel drive that I can go off-road in, another adventure mobile. She won't experience in body, but she will experience in spirit. When you have moments of synchronicity and you don't understand what's going on with them, embrace them. Now, these don't just happen when you're having a spiritual awakening or what you might think of as a spiritual awakening. They also happen when you're in crisis. When you're in an emotional crisis, when you're having something really hard happen in your life, maybe death, a loss, or whatever, some existential crisis, something that you can feel. And these strange things start happening that you might consider synchronicities. Embrace those. Embrace those because they're talking to you. There's some part of it that's talking to you. As Chopra said, there are no accidents. There's only some purpose that we haven't yet understood. There is some purpose in these communications. There's so much we don't know, and so much we don't know that we don't know. There's much more that we don't know than we do know, as Einstein said. So don't shake off something because you don't understand it. When you see a synchronicity occurring or you feel something that's beautiful, let it come in. Just accept it for whatever it is. It's beautiful. Are you seeing synchronicities? Are you feeling them? Are you feeling them creep up on you? Some things coming in. You get a 1 and a 2 and you're like, wow, that's unexplainable. And then the really solid ones, when you see the same thing 3 times in a row, sometimes you will have an experience that will come in and you'll be like, what? Oh, that's interesting. And it'll happen again. Like, hold on a second. That's weird that happened twice. That's a really unusual thing to happen once, but twice is really weird. By the third time, that's just the universe or God or spirit or something just taking you by the shirt and slapping you around and saying, listen. So listen. Listen in those moments of synchronicity. If you're having synchronicities, ask yourself, what are they telling you? What are they telling you? Because they're telling you something. The universe doesn't speak up to be ignored. The universe speaks up for you. For you. What are they telling you? At the very least, it's telling you that life is beautiful. Embrace it. Till the next video, watch your synchronicities. Talk to you soon.